in the bottom right here in the blue. His name for Dragon Phoenix Gaming is Cure. In the upper left, in the red, taking a pretty dominant run thus far. His name is Dark. Dark going for that 15, 16 pool. I didn't see the right number, but close enough. Defensive early pool to make sure that if his opponent goes for 2 racks, it's not really going to work out for him all that well. I don't think we see a 2 racks in the... Well, I mean, we're not going to see 2 racks in this game. But remember, Dark and Cure are on the same team. They assumedly practice together. So, we talk about early pools, it's just a defensive thing against 2 racks, whatever, but Dark's going to turn this into a little bit of aggression. He's going to find the Reaper, although Reaper should kill all of these, and really, the Zerglings are going to be kind of sad they found the Reaper, but what this does do is it forces the Reaper to stay on this side of the map, and not on the other side, so he's not going to scout the fact that roaches are on the way. This is a 19 drone roach timing, so this is a... okay, there we go. I was like, that's a bit weird. The Reaper should see that, and he does. But this is 19 drone roach timing. All right. I appreciate both parts of that answer there, Corn Muscles. But okay, the roaches do get scattered out now, which means Bunker's on the low ground. Actually, the SCV is going to be pulled off building the base. Easy says, look, my bunker is more important. I need to be able to hold this low... I would like to be able to hold this low ground position, which is actually somewhat surprising. I feel like the most successful holds I see from this, you just kind of give up the low ground, you float the base, and you're fine. But Curie says, I think I've scouted this early enough. I'm going to be able to get a bunker up. Marines have to run away. First bunker's going to get... Yeah, this is not going to get held. Cure tried, but he's just going to lose a couple more SCVs and 50 more minerals for buying a couple bunkers that we're never going to complete. So, nice try there, Cure. I do appreciate the attempt, but it's not going to work for you, the bud. And, yeah, there's no bunker on the high ground. Bile's going to rain down here. 5 more. Oh, yeah. A couple more workers go down. Roaches find their way to the main base. This is actually looking rather problematic here. Yes, the Cyclone will pop out in a second, but it's going to take a lot of damage here. And the Ravager will go down, at the very least. But there's still 4 roaches. And a Cyclone for a single Ravager is not all that great. We're going to see 1 Ravager get morphed here. Now, this Roach, that Roach finally is going to go down. But Zerglings arrive here as well. 11 workers go down. This is not the type of damage that you expect from this. This is a lot more. Another Roach shows up. Why not? Ravagers popping up into an immediate citizen's arrest, but a bile lands, and I think a couple more SCVs go down. Marines dying here as well. Yeah, Cure is going to survive. And by survive, I mean he's not out of this game. He's still technically on the map. But he lost 14 workers. He lost a lot of Marines. 5 Marines, a Cyclone, all of these things. They're not exactly conducive to a Terran victory. He's going to go out and say it. All right, so first Banshee's out. Cloak is on the way. And Cure has to find a way to get damage done. He's taking too much damage in this game to just play this game even. and have a shot in the mid game. Although the interesting thing here is Dark, he is going to Lingbane play, or at least Ling play behind this. And he's actually got a lot of Zerglings on the map. Timing out with speed finishing on up here. What does he have in store for us? We're gonna have to see. But for now, Banshees, they're gonna find some of these Lings, but it's only 2, so he's gonna assume it's scouting for right now. Cyclone shows up as well, so it's gonna knock down an Overlord. Overlord will go down. There we go. But Zerglings gonna get on top of the Cyclone for now. Banshees keeps things alive, but Zerglings, they find their way on in. Dark, he's got that killer instinct. He says, no, I don't want to play this game late. I got enough damage for you. I'm going to do it to you again. Roachlings show up on the other side. Now, Hellion is actually doing a fairly good job of keeping things alive here. And as the Cyclone says the Banshee retreats, this is actually the start of something here for Dark. Yes, he has, or for Cure. Yeah, he had to pull some SCVs, but he really only lost 4 workers. And I guess had his supply depot delayed just a little bit. That was not the cheapest thing here for Dark. Losing the Cyclone's annoying, but that was 34 Lings and a Roach. If Cure is able to find trades like that again and again, that maybe is going to be his opportunity, but that's a dead Banshee. That's not what you want. Banshee should not die. Banshee has Cloak. There was no detection there. That should not have happened. So Dark now, he has his Spire on the way, effectively turning this into kind of a 2.5 base Spire play. Again, there's not a lot of drones on the third base just yet, and they're even less now as the Banshee finds a little bit more value. But Dark leveraging his position in this game where he knows his opponent is not going to be able to put any pressure on. His stim is going to be delayed to all hell. Stim is going to be super delayed. In part because of the damage, in part because Cure decided to follow up with Banshees, which Banshees are great units. They do damage. We're seeing them find some value here. But, oh, actually, Cure's going to lose a second Banshee in this game where he already lost 1. So he committed to a third Banshee, and he's gotten 4. This is going bad for worse here for Cure, unfortunately, as this 4 needs 1 more shot. Interesting. So we have Roach Speed on the way as the Spire is getting made. I wonder whether this is fake Roach Speed just as kind of to juke, to fool the scouting of Cure, or whether we're going to see some sort of maybe Roach Corruptor play. Which is weird, sure, but there are mutas are on the way. But there are games when we have actually seen Roach Corruptor against Terran, and you just do the max side, you get like 10 Corruptors. And your goal is just to knock all the medevacs down. You remove a ton of healing from the map, and that is that. But it's going to be 6 mutas on the way. A bunch of Roaches here as well. And it's going to be 1/1 Roach Ravager with mutas, which is interesting because that's a lot of gas. And I feel like going into mutas, I mean, this may just be a game where Dark says, I'm too far ahead, so I can secure my victory and then hit you with a sledgehammer too, because why not? But the point of Roach Ravager play is to build this army that just hits this timing where you're at a 200 supply, your opponent's at 120, and there's just too much stuff. And even still, it doesn't always work if the tanks are where they need to be, if the walls are where they need to be. So Dark, slowing down his Roach production as much as he is, as the mutas showing in, by getting the Spire for 200 gas, getting the mutas for an additional 600. Well, I don't know about this. I mean, we're going to have to see how it works out. For now, he gets a couple workers. We see how poor Curious, he really doesn't have a lot in his third base right now. Widowmines are going to go down here as well. And part of the appeal, I guess, of this is Dark for the last bit has been showing Lings, has been showing mutas. Curious is going to read into this that this is Lingbane Muta, which is not. So he's getting Widowmines, he's not getting tanks, and that means this 1/1 Roach timing is going to hit a lot more powerful than it might otherwise do, because again, it's Widowmines, it's not tanks. Roaches, for the most part, don't really care about Widowmines all that much, especially if you add a couple Ravagers and just drop Biles on the heads of the Widowmines. But 1/1 is now done here for Cure as he looks to run across the map. And this is actually where it gets the most dangerous. If Cure actually looks to put pressure on the map here, more than just kind of posturing on the edge of creep, these Roaches will arrive, they will eat his army alive, and then he's going to have to retreat back home to a base that he's not set up to defend. Muta's looking for as many medevacs as they can. The bio stimming on backwards here as the Roaches, they arrive again. They don't have 1/1. So there is that upgrade disadvantage for now. Cure looking for a bit of a concave. But for now, Dark, he's going to try to find maybe a different attack pattern. 11 Ravagers are on the way. The Mutas are, they're dead. Well, I guess there are 2 of them left, but 2 is not really all that useful. There we go. Biles on the Widowmines. And it looks like you're saying, okay, well, I'm not going to have tanks, but what I can, he's got one tank, but I'm not really going to have tanks here, but what I can do is I can move into Liberators. And while Liberators are maybe not the best against Roach Ravager, they're going to be good enough. They're certainly better than whatever else I have. Certainly better than Widow Mines. Now the army found its way on forward, but the Roaches are actually not at the front of this army. So that means these Ravagers, they're squishy. Maybe they will go down here. Widow Mines on dead center of everything. Dark, he's going to try to punch on through, but it's only a 50 supply gap. And again, 50 Roaches are not all that good. Ravagers not super supply heavy, but Dark's going to punch on in here right now. He's going to force Cure back once again. Widow Mines actually, again, they're getting some rather nice shots. But the lack of Marauders here is becoming rather evident. And the supply gap, it was 50 now it's closer to 70. The army looking to run on in, but now there's another tank. Liberator's sieging on up here as well. Cure's trying to get on top of things. Oh, he eats so many biles, though. That is not what you want. 10 SCVs going down here as well. And the Ravagers were exposed for a second. If Cure was going to be able to find a way to get on top of the Ravagers, it would have looked rather good, but now the army is forced to kind of stand here and fight. The tanks are going on down. Just enough Roaches at the front to buffer for things. More and more bio on the way, of course. But now it's a 50. It's again a 50 army supply lead, but it is a far greater delta percentage-wise. Now it's 160 to 100. Cure dropping below 100 supply pretty soon. He's not mining out of his third base. He's lost a lot of his economy. And Cure is just going to have to do what he can to try to make this hold happen. But the Roach Sledgehammer, it feels a little bit too strong. Cure will have 2-2 in a second, and he will have concussive shells. Maybe that's going to be something, but actually this is just going to be a dead natural. So now it's a 2-base Terran. Doesn't even have Triple Mule to come back, to resort to lean back on. So more and more Ravagers on the way. Lings filling on in to buffer up, although realistically this is a Dark that is missing out on minerals, not gas, so he could build more Ravagers if he wanted. But Mines, again, they're going to get targeted on the army, but we can see how big these units are. And there we have it, GG. Dark, too much damage over the course of that game. Cure falls, Dark takes game 1. Once again, though, Dark, 15-16 pool. We're going to have to see if he decides to go for the Roach timing. That got far more damage than it had any right to, by the way, in game 1. And that was more of Cure's mistake than Dark playing it super well. I mean, he did play it well, but trying to hold the natural with 2 bunkers, you never see it. Just give up the natural. Here, build bunkers on the high ground. Put your Marines in them. Get your Cyclone out. Don't lose your Cyclone to a bunch of slow Roaches. All of these things mean that you don't take damage. There we go. Roachborn on the way. Dark. He's trying to end our night pretty quickly. It's just about 2 in the morning. He's trying to make sure this series ends before 2. So Zerglings arrive in the natural. Will delay this command center, and actually with the Roaches on the way, this may be a forced cancel on the command center. That is actually going to be, if possible, this may be even more damage in this game than the previous, because remember last game the Reaper found the Zerglings. No, Marine will stay alive. Zerglings die. Remember, the Reaper found the Zerglings on the other side of the map. So what that meant was we were not able to see the natural get delayed. Now Roaches are wandering onto the other side of the map. Looks like the Reaper has scouted this. Well, I mean, now he certainly has. But the natural is done in time. Not enough consistent DPS, so we're not going to see the natural get canceled. That would have been absolutely disastrous. Thank you, reality. I try hard. I would argue that my production on a stream is second to none. My casting, that's a different story, and certainly I'm one of the smaller people out there, but at the very least, I got the production going. Because now we're going to see the Roaches. They're going to get a couple SCVs, but the bunker will complete with only 1 Ravager. It takes 7 biles to knock a bunker down, so not really going to happen, but it looks like the supply depot should die. Oh, yes. I've never seen rent corn mussels. I am uncultured in that way. Ooh, but Dark is really committing to this one. A bunch more slowlings, which is the interesting thing, actually. So we're going to see this Overlord. Okay, we'll go down, and Dark will be supply blocked, but there are more where that came from. And now with 3 Biles moving on in, knocking down a bunch of SCVs, we're going to see this bunker go down as Zerglings get on top of it. There we go. The bunker is down, but the Cyclone, it remains alive. And again, these are slowlings. They do not kill. They do not get on top of this all that quickly. So for now, 5 workers have died. Remember, Dark is committed to this a lot more than he did in the first game. But also, you gotta remember, there's a second Cyclone on the way. The first one has not died. We're gonna see these Ravagers start to fall apart here. And actually, this is gonna be better for Cure on every front. He's losing less workers. He's killing more. He gets his natural. He does not have to worry about 50 minerals lost for a bunker. He's in a much better spot because now these Cyclones can run across the map and do damage. Now they can find value. Now that they can punish Dark for what he decided to do, this game is looking a little bit better for the Dragon Phoenix Terran than it did in game 1. Okay, but we're seeing Dark. It's the same game plan. It's a little bit. The game state is different, but it's the same game plan. More and more Zerglings on the way, looking to time out with speed, looking to run into the natural before there's a wall up, and ideally jump on top of these Hellions. There are 4 Hellions here. Four Hellions, 2 Cyclones, and a bunch of Marines. But actually, the Hellions are on the map, and a lot of Zerglings are sitting at the north here. So Dark, he's got a trap. He's looking to spring. But oh no, the wall's there. He's not going to find this value that he's looking for. GG Cure. He takes it right there. It's 1-1. So Dark has changed up his game plan just a little bit. There's a natural. He's not going for a 15 pool. And in part because if there's a map you don't go 15 pool on, it's Glittering Ashes. Just saying. Sorry, if there's a map you don't go aggressive 15 pool on, it's Glittering Ashes. Maybe there's room for a defensive one because you're like, oh, my opponent's going to 2-Rex. I'm a little scared here. So you do a 16 pool and you stay safe. But if your plan is to run 6 lings across the map to delay command center, it's Glittering Ashes. There is no point. You're not going to get nearly as much done. So I think this game, of anyone, we're going to see at least the first 5 minutes are not going to be all that insane. All right, so we've been treated to a lot of weird games. Do Ultralists cry? You talk about Ultralists here. Do Ultras cry? I mean, they should. They're horrible units. They're really bad. I was casting Rogue versus Bjorn last night. Best of 9 show match. And a couple times, or one game, Rogue was stupid ahead. And he went Ultras, and he almost threw it, because that's just how Ultras work. you go Ultras, and it's like, well, I got to be really far ahead to make it work. But okay, look at this. We got a quick third base coming in from Cure. Leaning into the green, because it's Glittering Ashes, and you're not expected to kill your opponent before 15 minutes, before they take 5 bases, or 4 or 5 bases if it's a non-Zerg, 6, 7 bases if it's a Zerg. So, get a quick third. Lean into it. Lean into the meme. So Hellions and Reapers arrive on the other side of the map once again, but still. Yeah, Cornwall Stills, I actually think about that more. I'm a bit disappointed that you would compare me to an Ultra. Like, that's a little offensive. I would like to think that my production is better. I'm better at producing things. I'm better at what I do than Ultras are at what they do. Because, again, Ultras are, not good units. I'll take Lurker tier, maybe. Baneling tier. So Zergling's going to look to move on in for the scout, but Hellions are there, so it's going to deny that one. Zergling not onto the high ground, and again, Curious, he is really going for the full greed. There's no Banshee on the way. He builds Viking into Liberator, so saving himself a little bit of gas, saving himself the necessity of building a tech lab so he can go straight to STEM. And with his third base going on down, he is in a wonderful spot. He has gotten away with his, again, it's not that bad. It's not that much something you need to get away with. It's just the way the build goes. But Dark, we're going to have to see him drop his fourth base rather soon because, again, Cure has his third base here. Zergling does scout this off, by the way, and of course, we will see much quicker upgrades for Dark than we will for Cure, which is always going to be something that is nice. If you can hit your 1-1 timings faster than your opponent, you can really deal with Terran Bio in some surprisingly effective ways. Off of creep with less banelings, you get surrounds on things, and it actually does work on out for you. So 1-1 on the way. Do we even have eBay's done? No, eBay's not even started here for Cure. So that is going to be the one big punish of Dark in this game, or the one big inflection point, the one big differential. So the Liberator is going to look to siege on up from a rather awkward position. So we do not have the Spore doing what it needs to do. 3-4 workers will go down, make it 5, make it 4. Aliens look to dive on in though, and they're not going to get too much of anything here. Queens are where they need to be. Viking doesn't get too much either. Larva tier production, I'll take that. Larva is arguably the best unit in the Zerg arsenal. Ooh, Spore's gonna burrow up before the Liberator sieges, so that's gonna be rather tasty, but you gotta pull drones anyway, so a couple more workers go down. Liberator getting 7 kills is rather nice. And Hellions now again removing the creep. Dark only on 3 bases is a bit worrying to me right now. Because again, Cure is on 60 workers. Cure has his 3 base setup. Okay, so Dark's got to run by gearing up here on the other side of the map. Again, his upgrades are not done, but he's able to punch through the wall. That's not a lot of Marines, although it looks like they will be able to join up right now. So Dark's not going to find too much value here. 4th base on the way now, finally. But the Hellions are going to do a good job. There's not a lot of creep here on the north side. Hellions have done a good job curtailing it, sure, but knocking down all those active tumors around the 4th base means that when Cure gets ready to push, and by the way, his stim is done. Looks like he has maybe some stuff. When that push gets started, he will be able to really push on in here. Zerglings on the north side, they're not going to get much because the Hellions return back home. And now we got the push from Cure. The first one, it's not super much. It's not a ton. Again, the upgrades are lacking. But Stim is here, and one medevac will go on down. 1-1 is, of course, done for the Zerg. So these Queens, they're kind of tickled by these Marines. They're not going to get all that much done. Is that a double? Okay, never mind. Map crash going on down here, 4th base as well. And it's really hard for Cure to push up on the high ground. But what he is doing a fantastic job of finding a little bit of value. The Landed Viking finally finding the harassment it's looking for. It's going to get 3 workers. It's not going to get much more than that. It should have waddled in, but he gets 3 workers. And I think a couple Overlords as well. So Cure is going to be rather satisfied with that. I mean, Cord Muscles, in your defense, there was a time when Ultras were really good. When Kindness Plating gave them 1 more armor than they get now. And when Marauders were changed to fire 2 shots instead of 1, which meant that effectively upgrades applied doubly. So you'd go Roach Ravager just to keep yourself alive and go to like a 7-minute hive. And go quick, you'd go Roach Ravager Lingbane into really quick Ultras. And you'd have these Ultras with like 5 armor at 10 minutes into the game. Versus 1-1, 2-2 bio. And it was just, they'd get tickled, they would end the game, and it was kind of broken. So they reverted the Marauder nerf, and they reverted the Ultra buff. So yeah, Ultra's not all that good now. Dark, he's gonna have his 5th base get canceled. But he's just playing a defensive game here. He's getting himself into Lurker Tech. We have Hive, or we have Infestation, but just about done. He's gonna get Hive eventually. But if you're rushing to Hive, kind of feels that there we go. 5th base is going to get canceled here as well. You're going to rush the Hive. I feel like you want to do it a little bit faster here. So you're putting a little bit more pressure on. The wall of Marines is going to shred these Lings. I don't care that the upgrades are better. And Widowmine's getting some good shots on top of the Queens here as well, and knocking down the Zerglings that are there. Meanwhile, ooh, looks like Cure lost a fairly significant push on the north side. He had a lot of stuff there. It looks like he doesn't have it anymore. And Dark's saying, okay, well, I'm really struggling to get my 5th base up right now, and this 5th base should get canceled once again. There we go. Actually, the drone's going to die again. But on the north side, on the northwest side, it looks like he should be able to get his base up there, because Cure really has been focusing here in this position. But also, this is a rather salient point. There's not a lot of creep right there. There is a world where Cure is going to be able to push on through into Dark's natural and really start to cause some problems. But instead, Cure says, okay, well, I'm going to take my 4th base on the left side. I'm going to rotate on over. That's actually a fairly short rush distance for me to get on top of your new 5th base. Now, these medevacs don't want to go down. One will die, but it didn't have anything in it. And we only have 2 Banelings on the map. That's a bit of a problem. Cure's going to look to stim on in. Banelings are morphing on in. Zerglings looking to run on through. And again, they do have superior upgrades. But Cure, he kites himself back past the Widowmine wall. So it's just Marines here. The Banelings can't really engage for the moment. And Cure is just finding so much value. He's going to 4th the cancel on the 5th base once again. Look at these resources. Cure is just... he's dumpstering this game, and we are starting to see why Dark did not want to play a macro game. We're starting to see why Dark has been going for these aggressive options, because Cure is just everywhere. He's at 50 army supply, and sure, Ling Bane Hydra on creep is a rather supply efficient composition, but here he's going to be forced on back. Actually, some big Baneling connections are going to knock down a lot of this army, but it's not going to be enough. And we only have 9 Banelings still on the field. The big deal is that push from Dark was able to kill off tanks. So we did see some tanks go down. It's only one really holding down the fort right now. As Cure looking to move on in. Creep spread, again, it is being removed. This is the downside. This is the result of the creep spread being pretty heavily dealt with at the start of this game around this 4th base. Because it just takes longer to rebuild. Creep is an exponential thing. The more active creep tumors die, the longer it takes for you to spread the creep later. So now Cure moving on in. He's maxed. Once again, he has equal upgrades. Dark has lost that advantage. But there's still a lot of Hydroling Bane here, and it is hard. It is difficult for Cure to push on in even so. So now Ling's Banes, they're going to filter on in once again. Tanks from behind. The Bio running on backwards, and ooh, those are some big tank shots on the Banes. Every time that Dark looks to engage, Cure moves off creep. The Marauders run forward. The Marines run on backwards here. He moves back into the safety of his tank line. And Dark just loses more. It was 2,000 resources lost. Now it is 3. And sure, a journal glance will be done soon, but 3-3 is not started. Dark has the money for it, but he's just under so much pressure right now. He has to focus everything at this push right here, which means, guess what? The 5th base on the bottom side, which, by the way, is actually a base. It's not something that can be canceled. It is going to get targeted on down here. The push on the north side, though, Dark saying, maybe I can make this break happen right here, right now. The Banelings, though, they're not getting the connections that they need. So now the Queens, they're rather exposed. The Bio's going to try to target it down, but will be unsuccessful. Cure runs on back, but he's still maxed out here. He's still got 1 5th base, and he's always going to get another. Oh, actually, he's not here. There should be enough Hydroling Bane for now. A good target fire on the Banes, though. But this will be enough to clean up what Cure has on this side of the map. But Cure's on 5 bases. Cure has the same base count as Dark. That's not good. That is really not good. And only just now does he feel comfortable enough to get Lurkers on the way. We have Cure moving into Ghosts, into personal cloaking, before Lurkers are even an idea. And luckily, we actually don't see any Ghosts on the way. Ghosts only start to get good once you really have these high-tech units. But this sieged up position now is a rather deadly one. We have one set of tanks is rather kind of clumped up. So Blinding Clouds is going to be nice. But Dark, look at the supply. This Concave from the Terran is not something that you're going to beat as the Zerg. And if you beat this one, you're not going to beat the next one. The rally continues on through the map. Dark got dominated on the Zerg map. Cure is up 2-1. Please remember, folks, this is the first EPT Cup this is the first ESL Open Cup that has EPT points. And there's a reason that we have pulled Trap out of hiding. We pulled Dark out of hiding, or we pulled Dark out of hiding because he kind of wasn't playing the offseason in these all that much. We pulled Rogue out of hiding. It's worth maybe showing some strats to get EPT points. Remember, Hero, the only reason he qualified for the play-in day for IM Katowice was because he won like 5 or 6. Actually, I can tell you how many. I have my notebook next to me. But because he won like 5 or 6 EPT Cups in a row in December and January. He just went on this insane run. Yeah, he won 5 and got second in 3 EPT Cups from December 1st onwards until Katowice, until the points were stopped being given. And that was the difference between him qualifying to Katowice and not. That was 65 points right there. So there are definitely some funny ways you can qualify for Katowice. Ryung pretty much qualified through GSL qualifier points. He qualified for the GSL Super Tournament, which gave him just enough to go over the edge, but a good percentage of his points to qualify for Katowice were off of the 85 points you get from doing fairly well in GSL quals. And hello there, Mr. Lobster Sag. Oh man, I'm sad for lobster season. I live up here in New Hampshire, and it's not Maine, but I have family. We'll call them family. They're family to me. Up in Maine that I have not visited recently. I need to go do that. I've just been very busy on my weekends. But very excited for lobster season. Very excited for lobster season indeed. Assuming that they were ridiculously expensive last year. Like the price never went down. So now Zerglings are on the other side of the map because, again, Dark, he chose to be aggressive. He chose violence in this game. There's not a Roach War in here. It's just early Zerglings being a little bit annoying. And also, we got to remember, this was a game where Cure went reactor first, or Marine into reactor. He has said, I am going to do something that is a little bit greedier once again, because remember, folks, that worked out pretty damn well for him. Really, really well. He really did feel like he led wire to wire in that previous game. So Dark says, okay, well, I have you fooled here, buddy. You thought it wasn't roaches. It's roaches. But it's going to be 35 drone roach timing instead of the 19 drone. It hits with a little bit more. You get 7, 8 roaches this time. You get a bunch of Ravagers. And you look to put pressure into the natural. You look to force the natural to lift, but you do it a little bit later. But unfortunately for Dark, their Banshees on the way. Banshees against Roach Ravager are a good way to really end the threat. Make the Zerg very sad. Roach and Ravagers do not shoot up. A Banshee should never get hit by a Bile, and of course Banshees do bonus damage to armored, and Roaches are armored units, so they kill them particularly quickly, and in general, they do a lot of damage. A lot of the deeps. It's Banshee number 1 just about out. 6 more Roaches are on the way. Is Dark again looking to put the pedal to the metal, looking to find a way to break his opponent in this game, but first Banshee's out. Cloak will be a thing too, but Cloak is not really not nearly as relevant as a Banshee. Oh, is the Banshee gonna get these Ravager cocoons? Does he see it? He does. Cure, yeah, okay. Dark is a sad boy here. He has tried. It's not gonna work. This doesn't work. Ravagers have to go on them now, but we're gonna see a Roach and a Ravager die pretty much immediately. The second Banshee is going to arrive rather soon. Marines and SCVs on the ramp. Biles are going to get dropped, but again, you target the Banshees have to target down the high value units, though. You got to target down the Ravagers and the Roaches. Allow the Hellions to deal with everything else. But now, okay, second Banshee arrives. 2 SCVs have died thus far. Biles once again land, but again, they're not really finding all that much. Roaches into the mineral line now, and maybe Cure needs to pull his SCVs. He's losing 5, but there we go. 7 SCVs will pay the price. Cure probably should not have lost those 7 SCVs, but he's still in a fantastic spot. The goal of that build is to force the natural into the main. Cure has his third base on location. Well, Corn Muscles, I do apologize for your... that sounds like a you problem. Sorry about that. So Stim is now done here. Zerglings trying to find their way on top of things, but SCVs get pulled, and this should be dealt with. 3 SCVs go down, which again is annoying. It's a little more value. Maybe it justifies what has happened to what Dark has done a little bit more. But the Banshees arrive now. We do have spores in every base. How many queens are we at, actually? Only 5. Dark cutting a couple corners here to make sure that he can get what he wants. The Spire is not, or excuse me, the lair is not done. Queens are running away, and actually none of these queens have energy for transfuse, so 2 queens die immediately. Now there's only 1 queen per base. And Banshee's on into the main base. They're going to find... Okay, those queens are not really touchable. But we're going to see a couple more sport... Well, actually, no. You can say we're going to see a couple more drones go down, and there we go. Of course, you have one-shot potential here. Queen's doing a decent job of zoning. 10 more roaches are on the way. For Dark, he's going YOLO. He's going all or nothing in this game. We don't even have Evos on the way. He says, I'm going to build a lot of roaches. I'm going to time it out with the roach speed. I'm going to hope to bowl you over. But Cure knows what type of game this is. He's not going to be fooled by what Dark went for in the game that he won. In fact, he's not even going to let Dark get away with going for something bigger. His 1-1 is not done, sure, but he's got a lot of army here. He's got Banshees that can deal with the roaches as well. He's got a couple tanks. Stim and combat... Well, actually, Stim is done. Combat shields are not, but there are no Ravagers. It's just roaches. So Cure right now is doing a good job of removing the creep spread. And in fact, there's not a lot of creep spread outside of the third base from Dark here. Yeah, there's a lot on the right side, but Banshees are going to deal with that one too. Oh, he's going to get the host creep tumor as well. So no active tumor on the edge of things. He's going to get it all. And then while this happens, the Banshees find value. Double drop in the main base. 16 Marines. Yeah, they don't have 1-1. Yeah, they don't have combat shields. But there's just really not a lot here. For Dark, he's going roaches. And he's even on army supply, which tells you everything you need to know about this game. And maybe Dark can pull a miracle out of a hat. I don't know, but a lot of these roaches, they're going to pop out. They're going to die immediately. 1-1 is done. Combat shields is done soon. And Cure feels pretty confident to take this fight right now. He says, yeah, look, I got upgrades. It is fine. What is Dark's opportunity to get back in this game? It is going to be an infestation pit. It's going to be pathogen glands. It's going to be fungal plus biles. Dark reaching all the way back to 2015 and saying, yeah, this was a thing once. That one guy in Bayo's chat is talking about ultras as good units, and this was the style when ultras were good units. So, Corn Muscles, you have summoned this. Well done. Now, Medevac's going to boost on out. Queens do not have enough to burst them down. Burrowed roaches as well. Okay, well, I like that. I do like that. You get burrowed to make sure your infestors get the fungals that they need, and also you get burrowed roaches because why not? It's only one additional upgrade. It's not that much more expensive if you are already getting burrowed. But there are 4 tanks here. Not a lot of Ravagers, only 5. So it's 1 tap for damage for 1 tank, but tanks will continue to find value. And actually, the biles, they don't even all hit. So tanks still stay alive. The rally continues. Now it's 5 tanks here. And this 4th base of Dark really should not be allowed to get too much of anything done, as the bio continues to move on in. And we got some lag here, but I guess it's just me, no one else, so we should be fine. Tanks shelling away. The roaches are going to try to do what they can, but Cure stims forward. He says, yeah, oh, nope. You don't get to do that one here, bud. That's not going to work. Cure, 3-1 victory. He wins EPT 117. 15 EPT points to his name.